But yeah, Abraham Lincoln, he had roots going in from Germany into Boston, Kentucky, Illinois, right? This is his grandfather's, right? He said, this is a quote from him, right? I believe the first of our ancestors we know anything about was Samuel Lincoln, who came from Norwich, England in 1638 and settled in a small place called Hingham, or it might have been Hang Him. Now, he was famous for wordplay. He was super he was very witty, and he used to play on words all the time, and with sarcasm and irony, right? So you put it
Lincoln?
together. Huh? Lincoln, yeah, all the time. All the time. He was famous for that. You could just read, he got so many quotes, it's ridiculous. And a lot of them funny too. Kind of like not unlike Shakespeare. He ain't on Shakespeare's level, of course, but you know what I mean. So when he says it might have been Hang Him, he knows the place is called Hingham, but he's saying that for a reason, right? You figure it out, right? His father's father, after whom the future, this is from the biographer, his father's father, after whom the future president was named, was known as Captain Abraham, a rank he attained in 1776 while serving in the Virginia militia. So he was fought in the Revolutionary War. Abraham Lincoln kind of skipped over his father and to his grandfather for some inspiration on his paternal side, right? Because he used to quote him, but he used to give most of his credit for his inspiration to his mom, right? He said everything that he had of value was from his mom, and his rumors about his mom having been taken advantage of by a wealthy planter in Virginia, right? So let's go to the next one. Lincoln's father. Now we don't have to read all of this, right? But I am recording it. I mean, if you want to check it out later, that's fine, right? This is this is just a description here, right? This is the Reverend talking about his family too, right? And this is his brother Thomas. Thomas is his father, his brother Josiah. All of them had coarse black hair, dark eyes. Received from the father qualities of mind as well as physical characteristics: unruly hair, dark complexion, unusual wit and humor, and a gift for storytelling. Right now, Thomas, the father, it says here, you know, all that thick, compact, whatever. He was about 5'10", they say. Solidly built, well proportioned, 180, 200 pounds. There was a story that Lincoln told about how, well, he used to get in trouble a lot when he was a kid because he had a smart mouth, right? So when visitors used to come to the house, he used to like the tradition, like what his father expected was for him to be quiet as the child and let the adult address the neighbor. But every time they went to the fence, Lincoln would say something like, "How you doing? What you need?" Right? So on purpose. and the father, when they be finished, baby alone, he'd whack them, right? So like it was a couple of fun stories like that. I was just imagining it in my brain when I was reading it. It was kind of funny. All right. Thomas Lincoln, we see this is another testimony about what he looked like here. This is the mother. And a couple of these were used in that video. I don't know if y'all watched it. This is dark, sandy. I don't know how you're dark and pale at the same time, but intellectual looking, but whatever. Brunette is the most telling part here. And we do go to Etymology Online, which is one of the tools that we should be using when we're doing the historical habits of mind, you know, doing our research, right? Is a woman of dark complexion. Now, it's only in the mid to late 20th century that turned into just somebody with dark hair, right? And that's understandable because culturally, you know, when the standard of beauty, supposedly, when they try to convince you at least that the standard of beauty is a white woman, then it's naturally going to go towards that. But then what we also have to think proportionally is that if it's that way now, the farther back you go, you have to reverse that a little bit. You got to reverse it more and more and more the farther back you go, right? This is him talking about himself. 6'4", lean, dark complexion, coarse hair, gray eyes. Boom. I don't know what else you want, right? Now this is we only went through like a half hour. Let me read this real quick. Chapter 1, page 35. Go ahead, Luke, man. Go ahead, man. I'm gonna set up the
Abraham Lincoln is 1 inch taller than my dad.
Oh yeah. Let me see. 35.
Yep.
All right. I forgot why I wanted to read this one right here. We'll be about to find out. Y'all see the text there, right? Hello? Everybody see it? Thumbs up. Okay, cool. This book I downloaded. It's like 13 chapters. The whole thing is probably like 1,200 pages or something. It's crazy. I mean, I didn't read all of it, but it's some good stuff, good nuggets in here. And one of the things you can do with stuff like this too is that you hit that Control F button, Control F, you type in keywords you're looking for, and you can find a lot of stuff like that too. All right. Now this is just a story about him when he was a kid, right? Sometimes Abe was a little rude when strangers would ride up along to the fence. Yeah, through pride and to tease his father, he would be sure to ask the stranger the first question. Whenever he was whipped by his father, he never bawled out, but dropped a kind of silent, unwelcome tear as evidence of his sensations or other feelings. Meaning he was stubborn too, so he knew he was going to catch a whooping, but he'd take that and then and he didn't want to give him the satisfaction. All right. All right, let me get that out of here. Let's go back to. All right. All right, now this right here, this is called the Lincoln Catechism. Now this was published by somebody in New York, and the whole book is just super sarcasm, and it's just kind of nasty, but it's about him. And the reason why I wanted to glance at that is because one, the way they illustrated him, and plus the things that they're saying about him, it shows you a lot of the vitriol that he used to get at that time and the things that he was up against, right? It says, and this is one of the examples. What do Republicans understand by the word people? Abolitionists, mesmerizers, spiritual mediums, free lovers, and Negroes. So you can guess that whoever wrote this pamphlet wasn't with the Republicanism, right? Now, mesmerizer, that comes from, there's a French guy named Anton Mesmer who started with hypnotism, all right? And that's where you get mesmerized. And I'm going to read a couple of passages from that as well. And if you got something to say. And that's another thing too about books that are this old, they're free because the copyright has run out. So if you ever get to that point where you trying to do some research like that, you can usually find it for free, right? And it said page 1 and page 35. I mean, it's crazy on here. It gives you a lot of, well, this is the picture that they drew of him, all right? The Lincoln Catechism, eccentricities and beauties of despotism, calling him like he's like a dictator, right? A guide to the presidential election of 1864, right? So obviously, Civil War been going on for about 3 years. The Union is winning, right? He got reelected in 1964. So there are a lot of people that they can see the tea leaves, right? Or they can read them, right? Involuntary Black Republican, right? This is a table of contents, right? Well, what is the Constitution? The compact with hell, now obsolete. By whom hath the Constitution been made obsolete? By Abraham Africanus I. To what end? That his days may be long in office, and that he may make himself and his people the equal of the Negroes. What is a president? A general agent for Negroes. Now, when he was a kid, his dad used to rent him out for 10 cents a day. Go ahead, Luke, man. Go ahead, man.
They made Abraham Lincoln look like a monkey.
Yeah, not only a monkey, but they kind of make him look kind of a little devilish. You know what I'm saying? With his ears and all of that, and it's kind of like a monster, some type of monster.
It looks like somebody made it was a female monkey and had a baby.
Kind of look retarded, but what do you mean they used to rent him out for 10 cents a day?
Well, back then, indentured servitude was in this country, that probably set the infrastructure for the subsequent enslavement of
So what you mean?
natives and Africans, etc.
So he would work for him, like Abraham would work for people, or they would rent out like his space or like his room or like?
No, that he would rent him out. Basically, he would send him to work for people, do labor, and the people would pay him. And Abraham Lincoln never got a cent. His dad would keep the money. As that's kind of slave-like, ain't it? Right? Go ahead, Luke.
So pretty much you're saying that when you bring them out, he made them work without no pay.
Yeah.
And also whooped him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. So he had a tough life. They used to call him the rail splitter as well, because he used to also work laying down railroad tracks. Right. So that's some tough work. Y'all ever heard of what's that guy's name? Oh my God. Y'all know I'm talking about. The grown-ups know I'm talking about. The
Henry?
John Henry. That's what you said?
Yeah.
The guy that beat the machine. Yeah. The black dude. He beat that machine to set he was banging the nails into the railroad to set the railroad tracks.
I thought that was a myth. I thought that was a myth.
No, he was a real person. And Abraham Lincoln used to do that. Right? He used to do that. And when he was a lawyer in Illinois too, he used to defend black people all the time. He defended Moors, right? People that proclaimed Moorish nationality, right? And a lot of times he used to use the Bible too, right? Let's go to page 35 real quick. For some reason I wanted to see. Let me make sure that's the page I wanted. Oh, 39. All right, hold on. Oh yeah. Now this is them talking about Republicans, right? What do they live upon? Chiefly on blood, right? What do the Republicans understand by the word people? We said that part already. What is to be established new religion of America? Infidelity. How are the people to be divided? Rich, poor, wise, and the foolish. General. It's kind of crazy, right? I mean, if you're a nerd, you should really check out some of this stuff, right? It gives you a real it gives you good insight into how people were thinking back then. Let me go back to the thing real quick. Hold up.
They said Republicans lived off blood.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
They were stupid.
But they might have been trying to be figurative though, because like basically saying the blood of the people, the citizens, you know what I mean? But they might have been trying to be literal, or it might have been ironic as well. You know what I mean? So it's tough to say. That's why when you're really doing research, you want to try to get as many different sources as well, which I'll come back to what Kadar, when he did his presentation with the animals, it might have seemed like it was from left field, but like we said, truth has to reconcile itself, right? So if one thing is true, then the things that have to be in that same time or context or surrounding that event also have to make sense, right? Okay, this is a cover of another one, Abraham Africanus, right? They used to love making fun of him like this, right? Let's get to this. This dude right here, right? This is Pascal Beverly. Now, this is one of his, in Mayat, this is your word that you presented on Orientalist, right? This is a book that he wrote, Seership. Seership is the work of an Orientalist. And please pay attention, right? I want you to read along with this. Is a term commonly understood to mean either one who has been born in the mystic East, or one who, due to the possession of a mind easily capable of comprehending the thoughts and feelings of these people, and deeply in sympathy with them, can express their thoughts and emotions as effectively as if they were native to itself. So it's kind of like if you're looking at it from one perspective, they're calling him an Orientalist because they're saying that he had such gifts that he was able to understand all the mysteries of the East, quote unquote, right? And we'll get into some of his travels real quick before we end. Hold up. Be right back. Okay. All right, we'll get into some of his travels, right? Or kind of something that I think Mayat was getting to. I don't know if she was trying to say that purposely, maybe so. I'm not sure. Kind of what she was getting to in some of the clues and the things that she was looking up is that this actually is the Orient, where we are right here, right? So he was an Orientalist, and he could speak to those things as if they were native to him, because he was native to it, but he just was one that remembered, right? So his parents, one of his fathers, well, not one of them, pardon me, his father was so-called American royalty, Randolph's, the black dude, right? From the Randolph family in Virginia, right? His mom was a Madagascar princess, right? Who was also had supposedly certain gifts, right? Let's go to the next. And the reason why we're bringing him up here is he was rumored to be Abraham Lincoln's best friend, right? Abraham Lincoln had suffered from depression, like his wife, and he had counsel from Pascal Beverly Randolph, who was a medical doctor, right? He trained himself to be a medical doctor, and he then became a spiritualist, which was very popular back then, where they used to do seances and talk to the dead and all of that stuff, and blah, 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 right? And then he had done he was so famous, he used to do lectures too sometimes, and he'd go in a trance, and then he'd just be spitting just knowledge from some other place that when he was finished, he didn't even know what he was saying. He couldn't even remember what he was saying, but the crowd would just be amazed, right?
Like Abraham Hicks.
Like who?
Abraham Hicks.
She does that?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. And he used to counsel Abraham Lincoln, make potions and tinctures for them and stuff like that to help him out. And he became so famous for these talents, these so-called mystical talents, that he was invited to France by Napoleon III, Napoleon the first grandson, right? And he became the head Rosicrucian on the entire planet. Rosicrucian order is a mystical order that's associated particularly today with Freemasonry. Guess who was also the head Rosicrucian? Another black man that was a head Rosicrucian on the entire world that we spoke of several times. We mentioned him today. Name start with an S. Nobody?
Samuel Jackson.
Who? Shakespeare.
Oh,
Shakespeare, who wrote the King James Version of the Bible. Right?
how about Samuel?
Samuel who?
Never mind.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Shakespeare was also the head Rosicrucian back then, right? And that's another reason why he died mysteriously, and he got mad hate too, which we saw. This one here, this is the fake picture. This is the one that they like to share. This is the how you say that? The
Whitewash.
yeah, the whitewash version, right? Because obviously it ain't the same. They kind of make it similar, right? And all you Marvel fans, Doctor Strange is actually based on Pascal Beverly Randolph, right? So a lot of those adventures that he has, when he goes to Tibet and to the Orient, he's learning all of these powers from this and this and that. That's where they get that from, is from this guy right here, who was born in New York City, a black dude, native parents, but his mom was from Madagascar, right? On Canal Street. All right. He was born and he died in 1875. He was 49, right? Just like Shakespeare was changing the world, died mysteriously. He was the #1 importer of hashish when he was in America.